Acceptance is really important. It's very important for life, for your moment. It's the most important. And it's also for this time. I think it's important to accept that people are different. Don't fight each other, hug each other.
When we left, I really felt like there's a big part of my soul stuck there in Farganta, Oasis. It was our home for 2 months.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Yellow Van Stories, your interview podcast starring a rusty French car by the name of Fonzie. I'm your host and driver, Bastian. I'll be speaking to creators from all over the world to explore with them the opportunities hidden within a crisis. We've been waiting just for you and kept you a seat by the window side. Also because technically there are no others. Feel free to order any imaginary beverage that strikes your fancy. Fonzie's in first gear already, and we are good to go. So buckle up and get comfortable, because today we're going to Morocco. Or sort of. Or, well, it's complicated. You'll see. Hello and welcome to the Yellow Van Stories. To a brand new episode and a very special one indeed this time, because for the first time the Yellow Van Stories are out of the wherever I was recording all the other ones, which was in my office pretty much with the microphone and always remote calling. And today I'm actually here live and in color with very dear friends of mine, the oldest friends I have pretty much. And I mean that not in the oldest, they are not much older than me actually, but the longest friends that I have. Just a little bit, kind of the same. With Danny and Laura, it's a very big pleasure to be in your home. Yeah. Danny also, by the way, is a sound technician, a sound master, basically. So we're sitting here with a whole sound setup, and I understand now that what I've been doing so far has been entirely lo-fi, and today it is so hi-fi. I mean, it is unbelievable. And to make matters even better, today to have some quality on the hosting side as well for a change, co-hosting with me today is Vicky Markolefa, photographer from Greece, my partner in crime and the love of my life. Very, very glad to have you here.
Very nice to be with you here, guys.
That's very nice. That's why this is a purely audio production and not a visual one. You can do whatever you want to, nobody will ever know. So the reason you are here is because, first of all, I think you have a very special story that is also rooted in the Corona pandemic that we've had, a very beautiful one as well, I think. And this is one of the reasons, actually it's the main reason why we're here. I mean, otherwise, I don't know what I would be doing here. We just had a very beautiful barbecue as well, by the way, so we are already getting
Eating
drunk.
a barbecue is enough, actually.
Exactly. We just needed a good excuse to get together. Yes. I think this serves as well. I am already into my second beer, but I won't drink anymore. But this is one of the most important questions. What are you guys drinking, by the way?
Wine. After beer, I have a wine. Cheers.
That's fair enough. That's how you do it, I think, right?
Yeah,
That's officially, you drink wine after beer. Is that how it works? Whatever is available, right? Whatever order. Fine, I like that. That's the right attitude. Danny, what about you? What are you drinking?
A beer. The second one. A beer after a beer.
Wow.
The first beer was after a coffee.
Amazing.
So we had a coffee together too.
Coffee is an excellent coffee, by the way. Thank you.
Yes, I think the best coffee in at least like circumference of,
totally
let's go for 50 kilometers here.
Totally the best coffee I've had ever since I came to Germany.
It's not true. There is a better coffee just around the corner. There's a shop and they really have the best coffee.
We don't know them, we know you, so I'm absolutely...
It's the best you know. That's perfect.
Absolutely.
That's enough.
So I had the best coffee I had in Germany so far, and now I'm having a wine, which
very
is
good.
also very, very nice.
Okay, good. I'm glad that we got this out of the way now, because, drinks say everything about the people that you're with. So everybody knows exactly who I'm dealing with now. Prost, cheers. By the way, we can have the sound as well. Everything. My God, it's amazing. Look at that.
Prost.
This is live broadcasting right there in your face.
That's how it works.
Great. So, the reason, like I said already, so I want to give a bit of a background to you guys, just so people have a kind of an idea who we are, who I'm talking to, and why we're having this podcast. So, Laura, I've known for. I don't even want to say actually. I don't actually want to say, but for something close to 30 odd years. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah, pretty much. Right. And Danny, I have known ever since you guys have fallen in love and decided to spend the rest of your lives together.
17 years.
That's 17 years ago. I was kind of with you from the start, and it did not destroy your relationship. That means it's got to be a strong relationship, right?
It made us more rich. It gave us all the flowers we had.
Ah, well, that's just stop it right there. Otherwise, I'm going to puke all over the microphone, right?
I just started crying.
Well, thank God they're hanging from the roof and they're not right in front of me, so there's no danger there. So we've known each other for a very long time. And so Danny is a sound technician working for film, working for radio. I think more film now, but in the radio in the past has stopped very much. But who has supported me on numerous projects. Without his help, some of the projects I would have never finished. Actually, I think, in all honesty, if it hadn't been for Danny, I would have never gotten a degree in photography because my final project would have never ended in any kind of satisfactory way. Right? It was nights that we spent in finishing the editing and everything. I think I slept over in your place. We shared a bed, everything for days, right?
I was dead after that.
And so was I. And still we're sitting here and we can look each other in the eye and be like, no, those were good times.
We did it together.
More or less, exactly. So this goes very deep. And Laura, I have known from tennis school, like everything. We have just been like childhood friends, basically. And Laura is a fashion designer as well, who has been working with a big fashion brand in Munich, Oscar, and who is now, and correct me if I'm saying this in any way wrong, but is now dedicating your time to your two very beautiful girls.
Yes.
Amelie and Marlene, who are just some of the most gorgeous girls. We just took them to bed, meaning they just took them to bed, obviously. And with this background, I think you guys also, with family and everything, you very much value freedom to have time to spend with the girls as well. I think this is one of your main dedications, right? To free the time to be as a family and with your girls as much as possible.
I think it's much more, actually.
All right.
Because it started before. We just like to have some time for us, free time, to decide what to do. So it's now, for sure, it's about also having time with the children. And for what you want to talk about, it was the reason to go, to have more time with the children. But actually, it has become the middle of our life. We want to spend time as free as possible. I think this is...
So we are just working, or you are just working to earn money to have free time again,
Yeah.
We try to have as much free time as we can.
So your ambition, other than with maybe, other, setups, is not to like progress with your careers, but your ambition is to progress with your free time, in the sense that you do what you need to do to then have the quality and the free time that you want to spend it however you want to, right?
Yeah.
This is a focus that I think you very consciously put in your life. Is something that I admire very much. I think it's very beautiful. And the only reason I'm pointing it out so much is also because of this, to give a little bit of background to what happened to you just recently when you decided to take some time. You have an amazingly beautiful self-built campervan, something I can absolutely relate to. It's a little bigger than mine, but hey, size doesn't matter, right?
No.
So,
that's what you do with it.
Exactly. Thanks very much. That's exactly what I was thinking.
What you do.
And you actually, before you had the kids, you had a very long tour through Asia. I think you went all the way up to Kyrgyzstan, right?
Yes.
Almost how long? 7, 8 months?
8 months.
8 months?
8, yeah.
So a very long time, full of adventures. That alone is a podcast or a book or a
There's a
film
lot to tell
or
about this
whatever.
one, yeah.
Exactly. But to just focus on the essentials for today, and we will have another episode another time. It's not about that trip, but it's about another trip that you just recently did, where you packed your car. Knut, that's the name.
Yes.
Your campervan has a
family
name
member.
as well, just like my Alphonse
Yes.
has a name. And you packed it full. You took the children and you went. What was your original destination when you set off from here? Where did you say you wanted to go? Was it Morocco or was it?
It always
That was a bit of a spoiler, anyway. But yeah.
Yeah, we wanted to go to Morocco.
All right.
That was
The
the final
reason was very
destination.
easy because I cannot work at wintertime. At wintertime, there's no filmmaking. So we have to go somewhere where the sun is shining at wintertime, and which is not too far away. To go to Australia is not an option. So Morocco was
Next van.
the nearest way to go to and to spend wintertime. So this was the main reason.
Yeah.
All
It was
right.
your
Yeah, it
idea,
was-
actually.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, we just thought about, okay, we have time in winter for 4 months. That was the plan. Where can we go with the van? And then Morocco popped up in my head. I thought I have a very close friend, a very dear friend, and she went there 16 times already, I think. And she told me so many nice stories. And I thought, oh, okay, maybe that's a nice country to travel with the van. And with the kids, it's easy, it's not far away, it's cheap, it's warm, and it's very beautiful. Now I can say that.
I never wanted to go to Morocco.
No, he is like,
No.
really, Morocco? Because, like,
When we go,
everybody goes to Morocco. It's like, oh, it's so spoiled. Like, all the caravans, you know, the old people, like old French people, old German people, like the retired ones, they spend their winter time in Morocco. If you Google it, you see a lot of YouTube videos which are really horrible. But there's also a different way to travel to Morocco
yeah.
with a van.
There's a big hippie community, actually.
Nice people
down
there. Yeah.
All right.
It's really beautiful. And I think it was not the last time. When we are retired one day, we will also spend the winters in Morocco.
Just join the crowd, right?
Yeah.
Fit right in there.
Yeah.
Fit right in there. Great.
No, with the hippies.
Yeah, I totally.
with the hippies.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I that's what I figured. It's very interesting as well because one of like Vicky's most desired destinations in the world, I think, is Morocco. I mean, maybe not most. There's
Not
others
in
as
the
well,
world, but yeah, it's on my list. Yeah. So-
it's kind of very high up on your list,
That's
isn't
also
it?
why it's so interesting to do this podcast with you guys, because it's nice to hear your experience firsthand and everything. And I think also in the context of this podcast, because it's a podcast about art, of course, that and the way that you are actually, you are both artists, but now you are also exploring, let's say, in my view, okay, kind of the art of life. And I think that's an experience a little bit to describe that in your own way. And it would be nice to explore that with you. Maybe you can tell us how you felt there, your individual, let's say, experiences, but also how you felt it together as a family, because that's a really nice, unique thing. Not many families set off on a van to go into a desert. So I think it's really great opportunity. To
Everybody
see.
is telling you that the time with your children will pass very fast. This is something everybody tells you. Like everybody tells you when you get older, the time will pass faster and faster. This is something everybody will tell you.
Hell, I can feel that already.
Yes,
you
and
know.
if
And I'm just turning 30
yeah,
in
but
a few
if
days.
anybody tells you something, then
What's so
there
funny
is
about
something
that?
true. There's something true about it.
Yeah.
So, and still our children are not at school. In Germany, we have a problem with the school, or not a problem. Oh, yes, it's a problem. that you have to go to school, which is really something I cannot understand. I mean, for us, it would be fine if they spend longer time in school, or if they get off 1 year and then they stay 1 year longer. It's no problem, but
To have a bit more flexibility.
flexibility, but at the same time, it's about learning cultures, about learning what we have here. It's just possible in this way. If you discover different cultures, if you discover that there's diversity all over the world. And this is something you can teach your children.
So you'd also say that traveling actually is a very deep-rooted education as well, going somewhere else. And, yes.
Not only for the children, also for us.
Yeah.
It changed your life. It's when you go on a travel, I don't know anybody who ever came back.
Yes, the same. Yes.
Some parts of you stay there, and it changes you. So
it does. Can I give you an example of what just happened to me? Like, because for me it was brought so closely to me. Because right now, we're living with my parents under the roof, and we have Serbian neighbors. And last week Friday there was a birthday celebration. And now, having spent the last 4 years in Greece, I wouldn't say I'm an expert, but I've really embraced Greek culture. I love Greek culture very much. And they had this birthday party, and at the end of the birthday party, like 11 o'clock or so, they were singing songs like Serbian folk songs, right? Yeah. But this is Balkan as well, like Serbian. So their songs sound very much like Greek songs as well. And I was just sitting there on the terrace outside, and I was listening to this, and I was moved to tears. Yeah. I felt like I was just being brought back to Greece, and I felt how much I missed Greece and this whole culture and experience the last 4 years, which kind of rushing by me. And I was like, this is just so amazing, because if I had listened to this without the last 4 years, I would just be like, well, that's some sentimental shit they're singing there right now, right? Yeah. But now I'm sitting there, and it's really immersing me, and it's bringing all this forth, and it just showed me like what the last 4 years really have meant to me, and what they have brought forth in me, and how a deep lying and deep rooted experience it was for me. So absolutely, like traveling does that to you. And
I had a very similar experience like you. Yeah. I had my 40th birthday on this travel. It was short before the lockdown. And we were on a campsite. And actually, you were preparing my birthday at the evening. Perhaps it's better if you tell this part of the story, because you were there.
Because I was preparing
as an objective observer. Yes.
No, not really. No, but that was really, really nice. Like, imagine we are on this very small campsite, and there were just a few guests and very, very nice hosts who owned this camping. And we celebrated his birthday, just the family, and we had a cake and made a little excursion. And in the evening, I thought, it would be nice to sit at the bonfire, because every evening they made a bonfire. And I went there with the girls, and Ali, one of the hosts, he prepared the bonfire, and I said, it's nice, like, could you just make it a little bit bigger, because it's his 40th birthday today? And Ali was like, wait, birthday? Daniel has his birthday? We've been there like 3 days maybe. Like, we are not close friends, but he was like, okay, Daniel has a birthday. And he just like, put everything away. Yeah. And he ran, like really ran. He said, okay, I have to prepare something. And he ran away. I was like, okay, I was there with the girls, like, maybe he brings some, I don't know, cookies or whatever. And after a while he came back, and he had some cookies and dates, and he brought a little guirlande.
Yeah. Like
what's it called? Like a happy birthday flag thing, decoration.
Yes, like birthday decoration.
Yeah, and he puts the decoration in the tent. They had a big Bedouin tent on the campsite. And he puts it there, and he had some candles, and he made a little, very, very nice table with the candles and the cake and the dates. And I thought, wow, this is so nice of him. Like, and then he said something about guitar. He said, I need to get my guitar.
This is very important, because for me, one of the reasons to go to Morocco was the music, actually, because I was listening a lot to the Sahara blues. This is a music that is incredible, really. It's like riding a camel. It's amazing music. And I listen to it here a lot of times.
Please do me a favor, find something like that for me, so I can also link it in the
Sure.
Yeah, you have to.
We have a lot of stuff.
Really, really beautiful.
This was one reason to go there, because I wanted to listen to it live. It was one of my biggest dreams. And I used to be a musician too. I did techno, okay. So that's musician. But it was not that kind of musician that those people do. They put their hearts in the music. It's incredible. So now you again, because it was really
then he brought a guitar.
Because in my head there it happens. Okay, we go to Morocco. At least there's some good music. I want to listen to this music live.
Yeah,
and you hadn't before this moment, right? Basically.
I think the evening before Ali, this guy, and one other, like a guy from the camping, they did some music. Like that was nice already. Like we really enjoyed it. But then listen, what happened? Ali came back and he had a guitar, like a really old guitar, and I thought, okay, he will play a Bedouin version of Happy Birthday for Daniel. But when Daniel arrived, just a few moments later, some musicians arrived. It was 8:30 in the evening, and I just told him it's Daniel's birthday, and half an hour later there were three musicians from the village
with
in
drums and
traditional clothes and their drums and their guitars, and they sat down and we had a concert, like a private concert with those super
they were
great
really good.
musicians.
It was not like, okay, they're nice, but they were really good. You know, it was like those music I was listening to. It was the same.
And after the first song, he had tears in his eyes and he was so moved. And like, wow. They said, hey, come, play with us. I was like, no way.
Really?
I can join them.
That was incredible. And they gave me one of their drums.
And you played the drums?
And I played with them, and I played with them the whole evening. I was like knocked out. It was intense. It was really, it's hard to say that because I have children, but it was for me, for myself, what I experienced, the best day in my life, really. I never had a day like this.
Amazing.
It was like, not only the dream came true, but even more. You know, I could play with them. And they said, I'm good. I was so touched.
That was just the cherry on top.
It was incredible, really. And Laura, you were always talking to me in between of those songs. I couldn't talk anymore. No, leave me. I have to play. I never had an experience like this. I never felt into sound like this. I was really like, the biggest dream of my life came true on my 40th birthday. It's all together, the cake.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was really nice.
I think it's one of the most beautiful things, really, in life, to me at least, if you can find, like, between two people that are actually very foreign, have entirely different backgrounds, if you can find a way of just bridging over and just connecting on a deeper level. Because it shows you no matter what we think we are and no matter how different we think we are, that we can always find something that really connects us and brings us closer together.
Yeah, at the same time, it's some kind of communication, you know. They got their music, and I'm from Europe. I got my music here, and I could play my experience of music with their experience of music, and some new language happened. It was a new language, and for them it was a new language, and for me it was a new language, because we just could talk, you know. If you do music, you know, okay, now the refrain is coming, and now you know this, and it's like a dialogue. At the end, it's like a dialogue.
It is a universal language, music.
And after two songs, we could even stop together. You know, it was clear. You know, now boom, stop. It was a match. It was a perfect match. And after that, and that was really where I was shaking. My whole body was shaking. The guitar player, he came to me, and he seems to be quite a good one over there. He's known. And he asked me for my telephone number.
What?
What? And 4 days later, they came again to play with me.
Really?
So it was incredible. And we had to stay there because our brakes were broken. So normally we don't stay as long on one place. We like to move. We stay for 1 week perhaps, but this time the brakes were broken, so we had to wait for the spare parts.
Yeah.
And it took us
1 week.
No, 2 weeks to repair the brakes.
Well, 10 days maybe.
10 days, yeah. So in
10
between.
days in between, we had this incredible
music
experience. You had, especially you. And
wow.
That was also the point. You know, we traveled 8 weeks, more or less, on the coast in Morocco, and that was nice.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop you there. Let's just exactly. Sorry, I hate to do this. Well,
no, do this
because let's just because this is just exactly the perfect moment now to go to the beginning of how this started. So, when exactly did you leave here to go on the trip?
3rd of January.
So really middle of winter. in
Middle of
Germany.
winter.
Like
Yeah.
this is like the
Just
hardcore winter. I mean, it's not as
hardcore
hardcore as it used to
The
be.
best
but,
part to leave Germany.
Yeah, the best time to leave Germany
Yeah, it's-
when really everything is crap.
You have to go.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you have
Just
to go.
after New Year, we like packed the van
And just drove off. And you
Drove
had
off.
set yourself a time frame of how long? How long were you going to be gone for?
we didn't really know. Like we said, at least 8 weeks because that's
But you
the
were
time
flexible,
You need.
it
But we
could
were
have been-
flexible. We
Okay.
said we just see how things develop, how we like it, how the kids like it, how we like, find a way together, how jobs will come or not, and we were flexible. But after a while, we said, okay, we want to leave Morocco again, beginning of May.
Okay. So
Was-
so you traveled through, like you traveled from Germany to
To
To Italy, you go.
Italy.
Yeah, you can.
take the ferry?
Yes,
I
take the
suppose,
ferry.
to
Tangier.
Tangier.
Tangier. So directly to Morocco, basically.
Yes.
Yes.
So the actual travel to Morocco wasn't even that long. What,
No,
a week?
a
No.
week.
A week, and then
The
you were already
first,
there.
the first
Okay.
night we spent, it was so cold that that the windows were frozen from inside, and that my radio fucked up.
And you were like,
Yes.
what the fuck am I
That
doing
was
in
the-
Morocco?
the
It's as
water.
cold
No, no,
here
no,
as
no,
it
no,
is in
no,
Germany.
That was still.
That was still in Italy.
that was-
Still
Obviously,
in Italy.
so I'm
Still
ahead
in
of the
Italy.
time, yes.
And we decided to do this because it's more cheap, because our van is always broken, so we always have to repair it. So if you don't drive as
We
much,
have that
it's
in
better.
common as
Yeah,
well. Yes,
you know that.
absolutely.
And for the children, because they can move on the ferry. If you put them in a chair for 1 week, it's not good. It's just not good. They will do it. They're used to it, but
Yeah, but it's not fun.
it's better
course.
on a ferry.
Of course. So then you had a week, including a ferry, and you went to Morocco. You
Yes.
landed in Tangier.
We arrived at the 8th of January.
8th of January, and then what was your general outlook? Like you were just going to just take your time and go from there all the way through Morocco and then go back to Tangier and take the ferry back.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
the plan.
Perhaps
Okay.
Spain
Wanted
and
to-
Portugal. We didn't know if we would do this too. But we learned from our last journey that it's not good to have any plan. Because you meet people and you like those people, you stay with those people. If you have to be there and there at this time, and no, it doesn't work. The best thing is to have no plan at all. Just to decide to do it, and then
That's a good plan.
That's the best plan, and you
We do it.
You're
I'm the master of
Yes, you know.
planning.
You know the hotspots.
I know the hotspots and I know what would be nice to see, but we don't really have those must-sees on the way.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
that's how we do it.
I'm with you on that as well. Like this is also, and you as well, I think, Vicky, right? Like it's
Yeah, it depends how much time you have. When you have time like this, it's nice to just let go. But sometimes you have 3 days, so you might choose differently. But it's always better on the free side of things.
Of
I mean, you
course.
already get crazy when you pack your van and when you prepare those travels. It's so many things to do. You think you got everything, but you never got everything. So the last 10 hours are the worst you can have. It's always stressful. It's always something is broken at the last minute. You have to get a spare part.
Yeah.
It's always like this.
This time you were broken before we left.
Yes, my bag was broken.
a whole new experience.
Yeah.
I
Whole new
exchanged the
experience.
battery at the van.
I remember
it was
that,
too
actually.
heavy, and so I was like an 80-year-old man going.
You couldn't move anymore
No,
for 2 weeks,
nothing.
and I had to bag everything by myself.
Wow.
So this is already stressful, and if you imagine to plan 4 months of traveling, no, it's just not. No.
But you got okay just before you left, kind of. And
Yeah,
then, kind of. You didn't have to
days-
do any heavy battery
3
lifting
days,
anymore.
no,
right?
but I couldn't even sit. I could do nothing. I was moving like a turtle. It's really, I was nothing. We were very lucky that we were able to do it. I was not sure at the beginning. When I felt my back, really, I couldn't sleep. I could do nothing.
But then it must have felt really good once you really hit the road and you
Yes.
realize we're doing
Yeah.
this. Like,
Yes.
you know, fuck everything. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's this, there's that. But at some point, you just gotta get to this point of no return. You're just saying like, okay, now we're going.
The point of return starts when you make the decision.
Yeah.
When you say you do this, then there is no way to cancel. It's no way.
Yeah.
You prepare yourself for so many weeks or months. You quit stuff. We had somebody to live in our flat, and it was just not possible to cancel it. I would go there in a rolling chair. I don't care. I go there.
That's true dedication.
Yes.
That's true dedication right there, which I understand because there's also just so much joy, up front in doing it that you really a lot of things have to happen to hold you back. So
yes.
Then you ended up in Tangier. So just explain or give us a bit of a background of how you set out in Morocco then until the moment you got to the Oasis. Right, basically, like just like in however long you want and however many words you want, just a little bit of how your experience was in Morocco until then.
It was warm. That was the first thing. You could wear a t-shirt. I mean, in January, that was already amazing, and we met already people at the harbor when we went there.
Yeah, it was for me now. After the travel, when I'm back and I think about Morocco, it's kind of divided in two parts. Mm-hmm. The first part was before Corona, or we say before the Oasis.
Sounds so much nicer.
Yeah, it sounds so much nicer. It was 8 weeks or 9 weeks. We just traveled, but that was really like holiday because we met a lot of people, very nice people and travel mates, but Europeans like Germans and. Mostly Germans. Did we meet anybody else? Germans.
Germans are very numerous. Very numerous.
We met many people, but like travel mates. Yeah, Belgium and Germans, and we had some travel mates and also another family. We spent some time with them, and we did some touristic stuff like little sightseeing. Went to Marrakesh and
a lot of
beach.
Beach.
We've been on the beach a lot, and that was really like holiday. And we didn't really dive into Moroccan culture the first 8 weeks because of we were having holiday. And on the coast, it's really touristic and.
You do surfing.
Did you do surfing?
I tried it once, but I had already had a teacher.
But like proper like wave surfing or
yes,
bodyboarding?
No,
the proper
wave
thing.
surfing, but
okay.
I couldn't manage it.
He tried to be cool, but
yes,
well,
I was not.
It's a story of my life as well.
Yeah.
Tried to be cool, failed.
Before
at
I went
that,
surfing, I talked a lot about how cool I am. But on the wave, I realized, okay, I'm not.
I'm not that cool.
I'm not so cool. I had a private teacher. It was a person.
You had a private teacher?
Yeah,
wow.
We also at the harbor we saw somebody with a van that was golden, bronze.
yeah.
A bronze van. That sounds
amazing. When you looked at it and you know that this is special.
This guy is cool.
And this guy was
cool.
following us. Everywhere we went, he was also there. No matter where we went, because we were on the beach and he was only there for surfing. He had a trailer with kite and windsurfing and wave riding and everything. He was just surfing. That was everything. It was his life. He was a teacher for surfing. So that was my chance. I asked him if he could teach me surfing. He said, yes, sure. And I said, okay, I'm cool. No, but
he's like, yeah, sure, no problem.
So I had my private teacher and still, no. I mean, it takes so much energy to go out there and then you have those 3 seconds where you always have trouble with other surfers and no, I want to spend time. I don't want to be hectically taking a wave and no, it's not my sport. I love sport, but not surfing.
But sometimes you got to try out things to know whether you want to do it or not. So at least for your life now, no, surfing, that's not for me. That's not my thing.
No, I do barbecue.
And you do it very well. There's a future in that for you. Yeah. I'm saying, I mean, really.
There was one thing we did with many people that was building pizza ovens.
Oh, yeah.
What, you built pizza ovens?
Yes, because in Morocco you can only eat tagine.
And couscous.
Which is like the clay kind of oven that they have.
Yeah. Yes, you put some vegetables and sometimes meat and couscous on it and it tastes very good, but after 2 weeks it's okay. So and there is no pizza or anything like this, or it's extraordinary expensive. So what I always love is taking what is on a place. Take it and build something with it. And building a pizza oven you can do on every beach. You just need some stones and some mud. That's all you need. And then you can build something. And this brings people together. It's amazing how you can get Europeans together with a pizza oven. And we spent many time, and we had already, how many pizza ovens did we have till we...
In Morocco?
Yeah.
2.
2 before, and then the third one in the Oasis.
In the Oasis, yeah. It's also kind of an art, to get back to the topic. It's the art of building an oven. No, it's really nice. Yeah, it's really nice. And it's... Okay, I just look at the guys. It's always funny to see, the dynamic. It's like the girls or the women. They're like, the guys, they want to build an oven.
It's like
the man, like the whole day or 2 days, they're busy carrying stones which are way too heavy.
hurting themselves.
Yeah.
You have to
I was about to say, if it's not a car battery, it's a stone for a pizza oven.
Yeah.
I'm making this clay thing out of mud and big buckets, and they really and the Germans first, of course, the Germans sit together and start making a plan, like how could we do it, and this engineer,
which is the best material. Is it palm trees or is it I don't know, I'm not sure.
And what's the coefficient of that material? Exactly?
And how can we do it? Should we build a chimney or not? And what is the best wood? Where can we get the wood? And we, like the women, just sit there with the kids and watch them. It's like having fun and laughing a little bit. And then every time it's the same. In the evening, we are really surprised that it works. It's like, wow, look! They've built an oven and it's burning and really, it looks good. And then we're making the dough for the pizza and preparing everything. And then people come together and we're making pizza, and we have pizza
evenings. And the pizza also tastes good?
Very good. It's really, really good.
Nice.
It's really nice.
It brings together those people, it's...
Can you draw me a diagram so I can also link that on the podcast, maybe, like how to make your own pizza oven? Like, that would be great.
It's
in Morocco.
In Morocco.
It's very easy. I can point out the spots where we build one. It will be there. It will be still there.
Yeah, the one.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think that's even better, actually.
Yes,
So it's built to last.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Alright.
the one in Morocco.
One pizza oven.
I'm sure it's still there.
Tafel.
We've built one in Greece also, but this is probably not there anymore.
So here's a call on all the listeners. Whoever gets to this particular beach in Morocco at any point in the future, please send us a picture and share it with us.
Oven.
Exactly. That would be great. So you have to give us the location, and then we mark the spot.
In Tafraout, there's one. We
Where?
found it.
Tafraout.
Tafraout. It's in the mountain region, and we took one stone that was so heavily big. It was
really, really heavy.
1 meter 50, and really like 20 centimeters thick, and we rolled it down a mountain. It was like,
You get my point.
I get you.
It was great. Everybody was hurt. It was perfect.
All the guys couldn't walk for the next 3
It
days.
was like-
But yes.
And the girls were
Success.
like, shouldn't we just make pasta?
It's Italian as well. Just saying.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so that's what we did the first 8 weeks. Just had holiday.
Swimming, learning not to surf, and building pizza
Building
ovens.
pizza
That sounds
ovens.
like a hell of a time to me.
It's
Yes.
perfect.
It's
Meeting-
perfect time.
Yeah, we met very, very nice, interesting
Yes.
people, of course.
All right.
But not so many Moroccans.
All right,
That was
yes.
really more the holiday part. And the first time that we really dived into this Moroccan culture was what we told you about, this campsite where we had this music evening, and we talked a lot with the musicians and also with the hosts there, and that was close to the Sahara already, like on the very, very south of Morocco, next to Gulmin. And that's a totally different
World, yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Before it's very European, especially on the coast, on Marrakesh, of course, very touristic and rich areas. And then you go to the south and it's so different because people are different. They are a lot of
Bedouin style.
It's Bedouin style. A lot of nomads or people who come from nomad families who settled now because being a nomad is not easy or not realistic anymore. But these people are amazing. They're so down to earth, like they have so much time. The thing we are always looking for, like having time and just spending time together, and they have so much time. I think it's a mixture of their tradition, like being a nomad. Imagine you're in the desert in your tent, and the only thing you have to do is watch your camels and making food. And I think that's pretty much all they do. And they're
There's
cooking
nothing else,
tea and they're making music, and it's super hot, so you can't do that much. And that's what they still do, or what they still have. They're so down to earth and relaxed and open-hearted, and that was really, really nice to
Kind of showing that the
experience
biggest commodity that we actually all have is time. It is one of the most,
The only thing you can't
important
buy.
things that we have, exactly, and that we have
Time,
so often we are so unconscious of sometimes, or most of the time. Actually.
Most of the time. And it's not only time they have, but they also have a very, very great sense of freedom, because they've always been free, and still they're like, okay, there is this regime and there is the king, and we are living in Morocco, but they don't really have the feeling of belonging to the rest of Morocco. It's like, the north and the big cities, they do their thing and they all want to have money and career and big cars, but we are here and we do our thing in the desert, and that's really
Special. It's very, very special
it's really
to meet
a special
those people.
feeling there.
Because it also makes you obviously reflect on your own.
They're traveling all the time.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah.
They're used to travel, like, because they were moving.
Yeah.
And they got the time that only travelers have. If you meet travelers, the biggest thing you get is they all got time. You can sit down with them, you can eat with them, you can talk about anything with them. At least you're an asshole. But I hope we're not. Are we? No.
Well, from my very objective point of view, you guys
Shut
are
up.
not. Okay, fine. From my very objective point of view, you guys are fine. Totally.
It's really, those people are living the traveler style.
At least they did.
Also with the problems you have. It's not only nice. I mean, they have a hard life there. Nobody earns money. It's really tough, but still they are happy with it. They accept their life.
I think it's also, I think it's a big misconception. I think very often, I find myself, or I also see other people, like, to think that there is like a kind of a life design, or somebody else living a life. You sometimes think of other people's life choice and you project it onto your own, and you think like, that is so much better. No, that doesn't exist. Like, whatever you choose and wherever you go, you will have your own set of problems, right?
Yeah.
There will never be, the grass is never really green on the other side.
No.
It's just that we tend to focus on what, coincides with our own problems, and how we think in other life choices that is reflected as better than our own. But then there's another set of problems that comes with it, or another set of challenges. Let me rather put it that way, because problems is not really, in my eyes at least, the best way to put it.
Over there, they are more accepting what life is bringing.
Yes, but that's the point.
They don't grab for something. They don't hassle for something. They're not doing this. They are accepting that life is coming how it comes.
I think the difference is not like in how you live your life so much as well, maybe, but it is more in how you accept the challenges your life choices brings with you.
Yes.
I think that's it. And that is what you can maybe see there as well. So
Yeah.
they live this life. That doesn't mean that that's carefree or anything like that, but maybe there's a deeper acceptance of the challenges that you face. And
Yes.
if you have an acceptance of the challenges you face, I think there lies a lot of happiness in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those Bedouins were also, I think, then maybe for you the moment where you really connected with Morocco also on a deeper and cultural level.
We were
right?
so happy to go in the direction to Sagora and, you know, in the mountains.
So you were ready
Not
to really
mountains.
take on.
Sure.
We
sure.
wanted to go to the desert. Like we went to Gulmim and we met these Bedouins, and it was really this feeling
Now.
of now it
Now.
begins. You know, like
Here we start.
Here, that's the real Morocco. Yes, cool. I was making plans and looking for a road to see the desert, and really like desert. And, you know, I'm talking about sands and dunes and camels and this kind of stuff. And we were so ready for the next level of Morocco. We were just waiting for the breaks. And
Yes.
that's where like the first news of this pandemic corona thing also reached us.
I had one news before, but I didn't really realize it.
Yeah, before it was like, in Europe they are kind of running crazy, but it was so unreal because we were still in Morocco and traveling, you know, we had a very good time. And
Do you remember the first time you heard about that, and when
I
it was
still
about
don't.
when it first really came to your attention, and you were like, something's going on.
yeah, the first time was in Tafraout, where we've built this pizza oven, and there was also this surfer guy again, and his girlfriend. She was working in a hospital. And that was the first time we were really like talking about this virus, like this new virus and all these problems that comes with it. And there, the first time I think I figured out, or I noticed that she was really kind of not scared, but serious about it. Like, yeah, it seems to be really a problem with this virus, and that was the first time I think we talked about it, also with Claudia and Dino. didn't
Yeah,
we?
but also very short.
But that was just about this virus. And then I remember when we were on the beach, because my mom and my sister actually, they wanted to visit us, and I texted with my mom, and then she wrote like, yeah, I'm not sure if we can come next month because I'm not sure if the ferries will go. It's like, huh? Why? I mean, why shouldn't ferries?
We are
they
free.
always can?
We are free. We are all free.
Now, I was
Why?
really,
Yeah.
I thought, no way. I mean, this is stupid to
Yeah,
think.
you know, I mean, for everyone, seems unthinkable. But I'm also thinking, like, putting myself in your shoes now. You're there, like, experiencing this amazing country. Like, you're really, literally somewhere else with your mind, with your soul, with your spirit. You're even less, open to accepting something so weird.
Not
I
at
believe.
all. You are
Yes.
so free. You take so much time. I told you, you take so much time to prepare it, and now it's the time to let it go.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it's about. Do
Yeah.
nothing. Just see what
So
happens.
the acceptance of that must be even harder than
Yeah.
for all of us
Yeah,
sitting at home
or you don't accept it really.
And the thing is,
Yeah.
keep in mind that we didn't have television. We had internet connection most of the time, but we didn't spend time reading news.
Watching
We have
news,
two
no.
little kids,
Yeah.
and they're observing all our time the whole day. So we were not like reading news and Facebook and stuff. So we were really off grid, like
Yeah.
media wise. So the first news just came from personal messages from my family and friends, and then we started to read or watch news. And it's like, oh really? Hey, look, it's really crazy what's going on. But
They're wearing
still,
masks.
for us, it was somewhere else. It was
Yeah.
in, in Europe, you know.
Like the Bedouins, lack of information means stress-free
yeah,
living. Cool.
very, very stress-free
course.
living. Yeah. And then we were prepared to go to the desert. And we had this problem with the brakes and the problem to get the right spare parts, because that is really difficult in Morocco.
And on the 19th of March,
Yeah.
they repaired our brakes. So we knew we could go on the 20th of March.
We could leave this campsite
Yes.
and go to the desert.
And we heard that there is something like a lockdown will happen. We couldn't really accept it, sure. But we heard there is something going on. And you have to know that in Morocco, there's not a big chain of people deciding something. There's the king. And if he says lockdown, then it's lockdown. It's like that. And you always have military on the street. You always have this military on the street everywhere. That's normal there. It's checkpoints everywhere, especially at the West Sahara. It's normal. Because when we heard the first time about Corona, we thought, okay, if they give us house arrest, that's quite funny, you know. We're in a van. Fuck you. That's no chance to stop us. I mean, we're always in our home. What can they do? But then we realized those checkpoints. It's there is a chance to stop us. So 20th of March, we went to the supermarket. We bought stuff. That's the first time we saw people with masks.
Yeah. And on the parking, there were some French campers, I think. And they told you about the lockdown. It was Friday, the 20th of March. And we left this campsite in Gulmim in the morning. And to go to the supermarket. And there we heard that there's going to be a lockdown by midnight. So it was 12 o'clock. And we knew, okay, now we have 12 hours to go somewhere because then there's a lockdown. And maybe we cannot move anymore. We didn't really know what's going on. Still, we thought, okay, we go somewhere for the next week or so, and maybe then we can move on again. And then we were just super lucky again because we went back to the van and drove on.
How did you feel, though? How did you feel? I mean, how when you realized that this is there's some actual reality to this? Like,
yeah, but life is coming. You know, it's just happening.
So you were this accepting of it, or like were you just like?
Now it becomes part of our travel. We realized at some point. The only thing we could not realize or could not accept was to go on a campsite with 100 other freaking out people who get crazy because they read news all the time. So this was the first thing we really decided.
I remember a few days ago, 2 or 3 days before this lockdown, we talked to travel mates we met before, and they were quite relaxed when we've been with them. But then we talked to them and they kind of freaked out. They're like, no, I think it's getting really, really serious and we are going home now. And they were also very south of Morocco, and they drove 2 days and 2 nights to go to the border, but they were not sure if they could still cross the border. And when they told me, of course we were talking about it, like, oh, should we go? I mean, it's such a weird situation because nobody knew what's going on, you know. But then we decided, no, we just relax, you know. Where is the best place to be when the whole world's getting crazy? Probably it's close to the desert, alone. Just with some camels under some palm trees. That was really like what we thought. I thought, do we want to be home in Germany when everything's getting crazy? No. Probably no. And for us, the reality would have been to really drive 3 days, 3 nights with 2 little kids, and we still didn't have the brakes on the car. We couldn't move. It's okay, we're still stuck. So,
but the way you describe the situation, you didn't want any brakes. You just wanted to accelerate. But that's okay. Maybe too much of an optimistic view there.
That was also clear for us that we could not take a plane. Our car is a family member.
Yeah.
We have so many stories in this car. We cannot leave it and go home.
I can relate to that.
It's like
entirely.
leaving our children. It's the same for us. It's not the same, but it's just not possible.
Yes,
it doesn't work.
Yes,
you can't leave your car.
No van left behind.
No,
right?
The van will come with us in the plane. That's okay.
That's true.
So we're sure we have to
whatever
take
it
a ferry.
takes. Whatever it takes.
You know, in Morocco at this time there are thousands of campers. I mean, thousands. 10,000s, I don't know,
a lot,
incredible many. So we knew it's it's not a good idea to go to the ferry now. It's actually what happened. Many people went there, and they were stuck.
We're stuck there.
They were stuck on the street, shitting on the side of their van. I mean, and having thousands of people going crazy. I mean, that's not what you want. Do you want that? No, I don't.
I'm just thinking of this because this is such a reverse image in a way that all of a sudden, like, Germans in their camper vans have to take shits right next to the road. This is something that you usually know the other way around. Like foreigners trying to come into Europe.
Yeah.
It's anyway. Yes. So
Exactly.
I'm just
Yeah, it was kind of this feeling when we watched news and you saw these hundreds of camper vans queued next to the road because the border was closed and they didn't let anybody out of the country anymore. And I thought, look, now they all feel like refugees stuck on the border.
I mean,
and they cannot take of course, I mean, that was just for 2 weeks.
I know, exactly. There's no real comparison, but at least,
I think a lot of those people, maybe they kind of had this feeling of...
Can relate to it a little better, maybe, at least after that.
Now we are here and we are... How do you say it?
We're not welcome.
We are not welcome.
We're not welcome.
No.
Yes, exactly.
And you have to wait for somebody to decide for you to be able to cross the border.
Yeah.
That's a weird feeling.
Yes, that you're considered a threat all of a sudden as well, despite the fact that you're not.
We also realized that the Moroccan people, some of them, they thought we are the people bringing the virus.
Yes.
So they took up their mask at the supermarket. It was the first time we were really in contact at this one moment at the supermarket. And where we really felt strange that there are people who take up their mask.
No.
I mean...
They saw us
because,
those Europeans.
They are infected. It's strange to be the outsider.
Yes, and it's just because we are lucky enough to not have to experience that very often, only under special circumstances, but under circumstances like that.
Yeah. And, normally we had the money and we were welcome. Now we had the virus and we had to say goodbye. Yes. That's the point,
That sums it up very well.
Yes. Yeah, pretty much. So anyway, then you decided you didn't want to, understandably so, be in a camp on a campsite with hundreds of others. That was kind of, I think, one of the biggest dreads you had, right? Like you would be stuck there in like an environment that you couldn't escape with a whole lot of other people that you didn't necessarily want to be with, maybe, or
exactly.
whatever. Yeah.
We didn't want to hear the news.
Yes, like Vicky said earlier, like to have no information is to live carefree, and this is actually something you could fill an entire podcast with as well, because I think that goes quite deep, and it also questions, how much information is actually good and how little information is sometimes maybe even better.
It can get you disconnected from where you are. I think you can agree with that.
Yes, and I think sometimes to have too much information can also just really inhibit your
judgment.
Your judgment, yes, and also your perception of your own personal freedom, and you get lost.
Exactly. You get lost. I mean, 20 years ago, you had one television show that shows you the news.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to, at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so everything was clear. That's the truth.
Yes,
and
it wasn't then either necessary, but it was just
it was the same. Yes. Like now, but now it's you can get every news you want to have. I mean, it's endless.
No.
It's like playing a computer game online. It never stops.
Yes.
If you sucked into this game, you're lost. And this is what happens with the news, for us at least. I mean, news are good. It's good to know what happens in the world, and if you can help somewhere, it's fine. But there is a point where you get just crazy. I mean,
yes. And it doesn't really matter. Like, I think there is no actual merit in it anymore either. Like, I also like to stay informed, but I used to read a lot more news in the past than I do now. I also very consciously sometimes try and disconnect at least for a couple of days or something, where I'm like, I don't need to know right now, because everything that happens within the last 3, 4, 5 days is something that I can read in 5 days again as well, and it won't have changed so much. You know, if the world ends, I will find out soon enough anyway, like with Corona, for instance, right? So this is a very interesting conversation to have. How much of something is enough in general? I think that's generally a very interesting question. But so you left the supermarket. Let's continue from there with the realization, okay, there's definitely something cooking. What are we going to do now? We're not going back, not doing the drive of 3 days and 3 nights without brakes, just with a foot flat on the accelerator. So what are we going to do? So what was your decision then, or where did you take it from there?
As I'm the road planner, or I always have I'm the navigator, let's say.
Finance minister and navigator.
Finance minister and navigator. He's just a driver. No, if you wonder what he's doing, he's just the builder and the driver.
Well, he seems to be doing all of the things very good. And don't forget the barbecue, because he proved that was definitely very sportsmanlike.
And the pizza oven.
Yes, the builder. The pizza oven builder. Yes.
And repairing. Yeah. But you're the navigator.
So we left the supermarket, and I checked online with my apps, like where is a little spot to stay, like not necessarily a campsite, but these apps like Park for Night or iOverlander, where also just spots are marked where you can sleep good, where people have been before, and they say there's a nice place next to a lake or next to the desert or whatever. I checked what's around 100 or 150 kilometers from here, which we could reach easily on one day. And there was this one little camp. It's a camp, but it's a very small camp. And in the app, it also said it's not really finished yet, but you have water there, and there are showers, and there's this nice man who built this campsite, and it was quite cheap, and it was really next to the desert in the middle of nowhere. It's a real oasis.
There were 2 parameters that were very important, I have to say at this point. First is no electricity, means no camper is going there. It's only hippies. Only people who live in vans, they will go there.
Because
but
we don't
nobody
need
with a white car.
So you got solar panels.
We have solar panels.
We're off we can do it. It's the only thing we need is water. We need water and food. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. And the second was, there was no address. It was only north-south coordinates. I mean, this is perfect. It must be a good spot. I mean, must be.
And the sanitary rooms are not very good. So,
this is our spot.
Okay, this is our spot. Nobody else goes there, we go.
So you picked the worst in the catalog, thinking, this is just for us.
Okay, but you must say there is not a big offer. There are not thousands of campsites, but just a few.
This was the least interesting.
Yeah, the least interesting. We picked it. I said, okay, let's check it out. If it's not good, we could just maybe tomorrow we can move on to somewhere else. And we went there, and there was this the main road, and then the sign to the right says here on the right is the camp, and we moved right, and then we drive and drive and drive, and there is
the name of the camp, I have to say at this point, was Camp for You.
Ah,
I mean, this is our camp. This is Camp for You.
Obviously, did you feel addressed by that name?
Yeah.
Sure,
amazing.
Camp for You. That's our camp. I mean, okay, we go there.
You're like, this cannot be a coincidence.
No. This
is clearly meant for me. I mean,
God is
great
talking to
marketing.
us.
Despite everything, great marketing. Whoever owns that campsite. Yes.
Yeah, and we were driving there, and it's really this little road, stony road to this camp. It goes through the desert, but not a sandy desert, but just stones. To the left, to the right, it's just stones, and little hills and little mountains, but nothing. It's like, really, campsite here? Okay. And we drive, and then the road goes a little bit down the hill, and then you see it, and it's really nice to see a little green spot in the middle of rocks. There are these palm trees, date palm trees.
Amazing, huh?
And really amazing. And just after this oasis, there's a big mountain and rocks and nothing else. It's like, looks quite nice. And yeah, we arrived there and it felt good to be here. Like, okay, we are very far away from everything else. I
We
think
were
that's
the only
good.
people.
Yeah, we were the only guests.
Was there anybody to welcome you, like a campsite owner? How did it
Yes.
work? Yeah.
There was a campsite owner, Said, with his wife, Katisha, and 3 children.
And nobody
Can't
else.
get any better, huh?
Yes.
I mean, 3 children
Wait.
in a good age.
Can get better because we just arrived and then he said, we have a pool.
That was great. You have a pool? Really? Yeah. Okay.
Really, you have a pool? Cool.
No, 3 children.
You're
and-
like high-fiving each other.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
we did everything right.
And then we asked him, where can we go to have our place? And he said, wherever you want. And so we went. It was a warm welcome, but still we were not really... It was not our goal to get in touch too much. It's nice if you meet people, but I mean, it's our time. So we went down and we went into this oasis, and there was no spot where you could stand with your car because everything was
Uneven.
uneven.
Yeah,
and
because
there
it's not finished. You know, it's
And there
still
was
under construction.
garbage
So-
you can't imagine, really.
All
If you
full of
go,
trash.
it's amazing. Mountains of trash, not 1 plastic bag, but 3,000 plastic bags and 400 bottles of plastic. So
Rough estimate.
yeah, perfect spot. Perfect spot. Nobody will go there. Nobody will ever go here. And if somebody arrives, he will leave again. That was happen. It happens like this. People arrive 1 day later. I don't know how they came there.
One day
French
later,
people.
a French couple came, but they just spent 1 night and then they left. But they were weird also. I mean,
That was fine. They left.
I'm
Yeah, because of the
happy they
garbage.
left again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was still a place where you can feel fantasy. You know, where you have imagination. You see this place and you know something is here. You don't know what it is because everything's just trash and uneven and nothing's there except of this pool, which was not really a good pool, but it was good. That one was good.
The pool was
The pool was good.
fantastic. I don't know.
It was a gray
I don't know. what
Are you
is-
sure you guys were in the same
Yeah,
campsite?
I'm not sure.
gray. It was a gray pool. Yeah, it was fine.
Okay, but the thing is that
Was it one of the plastic ones or an actual?
no, a
Ah,
real
natural.
like
In
the
made of
ground.
concrete.
In the ground?
Concrete.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a concrete pool. I mean, it was
A square.
maybe 3 by 3 meters
Yes.
or something.
Yeah.
And quite
Okay, I
deep,
know
like
it wasn't
2
Olympic
meters
size.
deep.
Okay, I get you.
No, it was not
It
super
was not
big,
an
but
Olympic
It was not this
swimming pool.
infinity pool stuff.
Ah, it
you
wasn't.
have at the Hilton
okay.
Hotel.
Well, I'm with you now. That's very disappointing.
Oh, perfect spot.
When you decided to pitch camp there, in your head, what did you think? Yeah, we'll stay here for a couple of days, for a couple of weeks. Like what
didn't
was?
really
Did you
know.
think about that?
We thought, or I thought, we're gonna stay a couple of days because I really remember this conversation having with Said, the host, the owner of this camp. He showed us the camp, which was not, I mean, there was not that much to show except for the pool. And I thought, like, yeah, it's okay here. But, you know, the camp was still under construction and there was all this trash and nothing around. And I thought, yeah, it's quite nice here. I think we're going to stay a couple of days, I told him. A couple of days. And at that time, I thought, because he acted quite normal, you know, like we were just normal guests coming and he shows us the place, explaining where are the showers, toilets, blah, blah. And I had the feeling he didn't know anything about Corona or lockdown or something because he didn't mention it also. It was just like a normal welcome. And I thought, and I think after he left, I told you, like, I think he doesn't know anything. I'm not even sure if he's allowed to still host people. Because I didn't know, because some campsites, they had to close.
They closed, yeah.
And I thought maybe he doesn't read news or he doesn't have internet, I don't know. And yeah, the first feeling was, we're gonna stay here a couple of days and then we will see what happens, or we can move. I still thought we could move on to the desert, to the real desert, like continue our trip. That's what I thought.
I didn't think like that.
Nah.
To be really honest, I thought we were staying
was an
a longer
entirely
time.
different movie.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I'm the dreamer and
So
that
what are you
part.
thinking then? What do you lay it on us? Like, what are you thinking then?
for me,
While your beautiful wife was thinking, yeah, a couple of days, it's totally fine. What were you thinking?
You know, when we arrived and we couldn't stay at one place without falling out of our van because everything was so uneven.
You might have mentioned
I
that.
asked the Said, I asked him, what can we do here? Can we make a spot where we can stay, perhaps? Is it possible? And he gave me a
shovel?
and
A spade?
so
So you can make one now. You
So,
can
I mean, this is my spot.
We don't need the pizza oven.
No, I love to build. You know, I love to build stuff. And we were always talking about this, that we love to have a place where people come together, and we like to build a place like this. If you have a look in Germany with all those rules, you realize after 10 minutes, okay, not here.
Just building is not an option.
No, just taking earth and making some nice
Yes.
spots. No, doesn't work. Because
There's three
there is
people
a
that would
rule.
look at that and it's like, sorry, the distribution of the soil in this
Yes.
angle, that doesn't work for us.
Yes, that's the problem. So he gave me this show and he said, just do it. And I thought, this is cool. I mean, this is cool. We can have a try to build our place. The place how we want it. That was my first thought I had.
Yeah, it's true. You always told me, like, yeah, but look, it's cool. I mean, we can really build our own campsite here because we're gonna stay here a couple of weeks.
It's called Camp for You. I mean, we can do whatever we want here. Sure, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
And if it's camp for me, it's camp for you too.
camp for everybody.
Exactly.
Yeah, it took a while until I accepted it that we're gonna.
So I think
stay
you also
there.
saw that you could just do something that you have always been wanting to do in a way. Like you saw this possibility of self-fulfillment in that sense, that you could just take a spade, literally, and just shape the earth around you so that it would fit your own idea.
I didn't search for entertainment. I mean, when you're on a travel, you don't search for entertainment because entertainment comes to you. You just accept it and you do what is possible. So entertainment was not there. It didn't matter. But having the ability to do something without somebody saying, this is not good. This is my place. You know, the grass is green. Don't touch it. This would be the worst case for me. But
Isn't that a wonderful way of hospitality as well? It's like to give someone a spade in their hand and say, hey, transform the land however you please. Isn't that an amazing way to show hospitality, actually, if you think about it?
totally.
It's amazing.
That's Moroccan style.
Amazing. Yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah. When I think about
So you started transforming then? You were kind of still fighting inside of you.
You were
That's
looking for-
me a little.
I was still checking my app. Where can we go next?
There must be a plan B here
Oh,
somewhere.
the next plan B was 100 kilometers away.
All right. And it wasn't called Camp for You, I suppose.
No.
It was called Camp for all the others.
Yeah.
Don't mistake me. It was not that I didn't like this place when we arrived. It was not that I felt uncomfortable, but
You were in travel mode.
I was in travel
Yes.
mode.
Yes.
You know, we were just stuck for 10 days waiting for those fucking breaks. And yeah, the van was moving again and I was so happy and enthusiastic about going on. And then we drove 100 kilometers and then we were stuck again. And you don't know how long. It was just like, okay, we are stuck. And it took me quite like maybe 2 weeks to accept it that we are really stuck.
And how was it with finding food and stuff? That you bought everything beforehand and then you went into the camp and then you were okay for some time there because... It doesn't seem like in proximity.
It
You
was
have
it was like this at the beginning, but
The
after,
officials came just 24 hours after we arrived. There was the whole brigade of military, police,
doctors,
people from the government, doctors. I think there were 15 people coming to the camp.
Did they walk into fanfares and a march? Or
No, but it's like 5 cars arriving.
Wow.
You know, you see every car coming to this camp because there's nothing, and every car, you hear it like 10 minutes before it arrives. It's like, there's somebody coming. Like, 5 cars coming.
people.
A lot of people. Oh, look.
with masks and white.
Yeah, the doctors, you know, they were all
Fully covered.
With this protection
Like hazmat
suits
suit.
and gloves and
Incredible.
glasses and
What is
masks.
happening?
And you know how
what
I
about
felt?
the others though? They weren't?
They only wearing masks.
Because I was just thinking like the ones come in full hazmat suits and the others don't. I'm
Some
sure
They
didn't
were
wear
having,
nothing.
They
It's-
were having masks.
Okay.
But you know how I felt? You still know the movie E.T.?
Yes.
when all the officials come to look for E.T.? That's how the doctors...
That was a crazy moment.
So it's like
And we were just sitting there like this, you know, normal without masks and stuff. Like, okay, they're coming to look for us. Look who we are. And they took temperature and wrote everything down and took our passport datas and stuff. And they told us, okay, you have to stay here. You're not allowed to move anywhere. You're registered now, and you're not even allowed to buy food. Your host has to do it. If you want to have food, there was a little city just like 10 kilometers away. But Said has to go and do your grocery shopping. That was the rule, the first rule.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's weird.
yeah, that's weird. But we said, okay, if you say so.
They wanted to protect us. Actually, at the end, you have to say they wanted to protect us.
Yeah, they were really nice. I mean, they were
was really nice
really
people,
friendly, and they explained everything, and they also apologized thousands of times for this inconvenience that we cannot travel anymore. And they even asked us if we have any financial problems, like if we cannot go back home, if we cannot work now.
Wow.
And even then we will find a solution. And we just talked to them, and we had the personal telephone number of this head of
major
whatever.
military.
And he
That's
wrote
so
us messages like every 2 or 3 days. Are you okay? Everything's fine. And the doctors, they gave us a number and said, if you feel ill or if the kids have any problems, just call us. And that was we were really, really well treated. Yeah.
We had the best treatment, I think, better treatment than in Europe. We had really 5 personal medicines and about 7 personal military people. And
I think a lot better than most Moroccans as well.
yeah, sure,
Yeah,
for
totally.
sure.
Yes, and much better than imagine any Moroccans being stranded in Germany, the kind of hospitality they get.
Yeah, that's a
Does
different
anybody
situation.
here ask, hey, do you have enough money? Like,
Yes.
you know, I mean,
But you have to know one story about it. There were 2 Swedish girls who went into the mountains in 2005
I think 5 years ago or something.
years ago.
In that
2014.
area.
Yeah.
It was in that area, and they were hijacked and killed, and it was a bad story by, I think it was Taliban, wasn't it? Or something.
No Taliban in Morocco.
Excuse
It
me.
was just, no.
Yeah,
sorry.
some random
No.
bandits maybe.
Just
No.
some, yeah.
There was some problem, and the reaction of the king was that all the police officers from this area,
region.
from the whole
Hundreds.
region, hundreds of them, they were suspended. That was the reaction. So that's why it's also a reason. It's sure they have
they're
hospitality, but
specifically
they
sensitive.
yes,
No, yeah,
that's
of course. Morocco lives off tourism. So, also in Greece, you understand how important it is, but
Yes.
it is the only thing that keeps you alive, how to protect it. So,
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
So, but that's so we couldn't go anywhere. We were stuck on this place. But it was not like being at home. I mean, here it was the same. It was a lockdown in Germany. You have to stay in your flat. I mean, imagine. I mean, I cannot. Perhaps everybody who's listening to this can, but I cannot.
Yeah, many people must have.
By now,
been
many
that,
people
yes,
can
so
imagine
far.
because, they had to live
Yes.
with
We
that
had
reality.
14 kilometers around this camp, so 28 kilometers in diameter. There was nobody, not one person. We could move in this area. Nobody cared. We have to be at the spot when the police is coming, sure. But we were free. Nothing changed. I mean, normally if you had Corona, your job stops. You have to stay in your flat. You can't meet your friends. This is bad. But for us, we were still in the car. We were still in Morocco. We still didn't work. Everything was the same. So it didn't really change our situation badly. It was just a change of our travel. That was what I thought. I think you were more thinking about the consequences. For me, it was just, okay, now we're here. For you, it was more
Let's transform the land.
Yeah, let's build something big. Yeah.
So
In a land where nobody knows what will happen.
Did you dig the place? Did you set like the ground flat and everything? Did you?
Yeah, the first thing we did was...
You want to know about the building project.
Now the building
Yes.
project started. The first thing was to get rid of the trash because it was such an amount that your eyes couldn't stop watching this trash.
So knowing how you have told the story, so you removed some of the trash from your spot, but you put it in all the other spaces so that nobody else would come and claim another space, right? Yeah. So you just moved it from one place to the other?
We knew nobody
How did you do
would come because it was a lockdown.
Ah, yes, okay.
We
sure.
knew nobody would come. But I think 2 weeks.
Yeah, every morning he stand up and for 1 hour or 2 hours he was just collecting trash. Plastic everywhere. Because there's a garbage deponie. You say
Like
that,
a garbage dump.
yeah, a garbage dump, 10 or 12 kilometers next to this camp. But it's at the end of a valley, like between this deponie and the camp, there's a valley and the wind brings all the plastic to the camp. So the problem is also you just get rid of all the trash around you and then the wind comes, and with the wind comes the plastic. You sit there, it's like plastic is snowing down on you, rain. It was really...
There were those big bags, You know that everybody was buying meal.
Flour and rice.
And there were flour
big
bags,
bags.
30 kilograms. Everybody bought those. And they were coming into this valley too, because they eat the flour. And I think I took 300 of those bags and filled them up, but really tight, not just a little bit, really tight.
What do you mean you filled them up? With trash?
Yes, I took the trash and put it in. There was 300 bags of it. I mean,
So we collected it, and then it was Said took it and brought it
Took it
away.
to that garbage dump.
He took it.
Which just
Yeah.
blow right back.
he
kind
took it
of
away.
that.
Okay.
No, he actually, we found out a couple of weeks later that he just dumps it next to the road
And burns it
and
down.
burns it. That's
But that's the way how you get rid of it. I
It's,
mean,
the
but
best.
still the next trash is coming. But
Yeah.
so the
that's
first
what we
time we
did.
were
trash.
trashing. All the time trashing. And after that, the first thing I built was a tagine oven. A bonfire
Nice.
place with a tagine oven. So you have the bonfire place, you can make a fire. And you can take the coal from the fire and put it directly into this oven and put your tagine on it. We never used it. But it was a very nice project.
It
Also,
should be
again-
on the map. Please put it
Yes.
on the map.
Also, get to all the listeners who should ever come to that oasis and to that particular campsite. Please post your pictures and messages about this tagine.
The oasis is called Farganta.
Farganta. Wow.
And the campsite is called Camp for You. So
Alright.
you will find everything there. You
It's
need
the camp
everything
for
you
you.
need for surviving.
With courtesy from the
And
Seilers.
after that, we built an outdoor kitchen because we realized it's 40 degrees. It's too hot to be in the car for
Yes.
cooking or doing anything. So we the outdoor kitchen for washing hands, for cooking.
Yeah, for making the dishes. And they brought us some carpets. Also, the hosts. They had this big old carpets. And so we had big, like Persian carpets or Moroccan carpets in front of the van and around the van. And so we had a very big, like kind of outdoor apartment area.
Nice.
We also called it like our living room and the children room around the corner. And we did a lot of like making the ground even and cutting palm trees.
It's amazing. You don't know how mean palm trees are. I mean, in Morocco, everything hurts. I mean,
everything
this
has
place
these,
where
pixies.
Spikes.
Everything you touch has spikes.
Really, those spikes from palm trees are not spikes. They are nails. Really, it's nails. You touch them and they're in your finger. Every evening, everywhere in every finger you have those spikes. And there are scorpions, there are black cobras. There's all you don't want to have is there. Everything that lives near this desert is deadly or injury.
But knowing that you have a certain routine, like before you go to bed at night, like do you check your bed if there's maybe a cobra in there or something like that? No,
it's not as bad as he just
but it's
exaggerated a little bit. But
just a tiny bit.
I saw at least 10 scorpions. At least.
Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
At least 10. The white and the black ones. At least.
See, these are the moments when a visual would be nice because the kind of skeptical look that Laura just cast at Danny is just
I also saw
it's like building a pizza oven. I do it.
No. I think nobody doubts that.
No, there were scorpions, but we still...
It's not possible that it was the same scorpion that you saw 10 times. Is that possible?
I don't think so.
Scorpion.
No.
Also, when you dig the land, stuff come out. So that's
true.
normal.
Yes.
Yeah. If you take up a rock, there's a lot of time there's a scorpion. And I always did it with my feet. Or if I take the trash. I mean,
think that one scorpion was like, wow, that guy's really following me around. I mean, come on, man. Can I just have a minute here? Really?
So we cut some palm trees and we started to make paths. So we took stones and put them on the side and suddenly it really looked nice.
Yeah, after a while, really.
After 1.5 months, it was.
I think you really built that campsite for Said. He must be really.
Yeah, he's like.
Yeah, he was the luckiest
Germans.
person.
I mean,
Yeah.
He transformed the land. He did.
No, I think he really appreciated because he was going there alone, and he's a crazy guy. He's going at the border of the desert, building a campsite.
Yes.
In the middle of nowhere where you can do nothing.
He has to be a very optimistic man.
He's optimistic.
Yes,
and
without a doubt. Without a doubt. All right. So, and then you got it, but and now, I mean, so you said you thought a couple of days. You said you were realizing from the start it would take a little longer. So how long altogether did you stay in the camp? So also keeping in mind that you set out on the 3rd of January, the darkest months in Germany, and thought you would be there 2-3 months maybe, right? So, and actually already when you were in the campsite, it was pretty much at the end of your travel time, right?
It was
end of
It was like
March.
2 months.
20th of March, we arrived at the camp, and actually we had a ferry ticket to go back to Genoa 1st of May.
Okay,
something.
So very much at the end of your travel.
Yes.
Yeah. We would have had 5 more weeks to do our round trip back to Tanger, and then we were stuck. And at the end, we stayed in the camp for you 69 days.
Wow.
Yeah. 69 days in the Oasis.
So basically double the time that you had, even more than double the time that you had traveled before then. Isn't that though amazing though that before then you really see a country from, the window and the landscape flies by mainly, you're moving through it and then the other half you spent stationary. And, you know, where life then comes towards you more or less, because you, like the people you said, like the doctors and the officials and everybody there came to you. It's an entirely different experience of a country than to the one that you had before. How did that shape your experience altogether in general? Like
Towards Morocco or?
Towards Morocco, yes.
Yeah, that is really special because the thing is that we had this family there. You know, normally there's only Said, the owner of this camp, and his family, there's 3 kids and his wife. They live in a city 100 kilometers away because there is a school and they have a house there. But now there was Corona and he took his family to this camp because they knew there's going to be a lockdown. And there was a lockdown and they were really not allowed to travel.
They did holiday there. It was not because of the lockdown. They did holiday there to help him. That's what Isam always told me.
Oh, okay. So, but they also were stuck there. They couldn't go back to this. The school was closed and
probably also appreciated to be out of the city where there was a lot less risk of, infection because there's just a lot less people there.
Also for the kids there, they can move.
Yeah.
They have the pool and we had a donkey, which was nice.
Nice.
So for us, it was really interesting to be together with a Moroccan family stuck in this oasis. And it was not always just easy and fun, but we couldn't escape. So we grow together a lot, these 2 families, and we mingle. And the children, they were always at our place because for them, everything was super, super interesting.
Yes, of course.
And we were really, really close with the kids, especially. And our
How old
kids.
How children or their children? How old were they? Roughly.
7,
16,
11 and 16.
Yeah.
What, 16?
7, 11 and 16.
Ah, okay. Mm-hmm.
And they were, especially the oldest one, Isam, 16-year-old boy, and Farah, she's 11 or 12, 11, the girl. They were really, really close with our kids. They were like sisters and brothers. And that was really, really special because we wouldn't have done it without Corona, you know. We would have stayed there maybe for 2 or 3 days and then we move on and say hello and goodbye. But then we stand there 69 days and it was not only for us, but also for the kids, for our kids. It was such a super good experience to get to know Moroccan children, and they don't have the same language, but they learn to communicate, they learn to play together, they find a way to really love each other. They really loved each other in the end.
Yes.
And that was so nice. It was such an opportunity. We would never really decide to stay somewhere for 2 months.
No.
And as I said, there was fighting and there was a lot of argument also, especially with Said, with the father, and it was not always easy. And I think without lockdown, we would have just moved on, like, oh, fuck you, this guy's really crazy, we go. But we couldn't. So we had to find a way to cope with the situation. And that was really, really nice.
I think
I said it's the travel still continued, but traveling without moving. But still it was a travel, but very, very different travel. It was more a travel with us, like...
Of the heart.
Yeah, a travel of the heart.
Yeah, but also with what you do normally. If you can't escape and you have to cope with situations, we cared about their children too. At 7 o'clock in the morning before we had our first coffee, they were sitting there already waiting for what will happen this day.
No.
What will you entertain us this day? I mean, this is not how you want to spend your free month. It's not exactly what you want. But if you cope, if you have to get along with the situation, if you know you can't escape it, then you learn to manage it. It's pretty good.
And also maybe learn to see the good things in it, the
Sure.
the benefits in it, the the learning curve in it as well. And I think that's what I was trying to get at a little earlier. Like, you know, before then you were just moving through the city and you're just collecting fleeting moments and images of a place, right? And when you spend 69 days in Oasis stationary and you can't move and you are surrounded by the same people, this is when you start developing some sort of roots as well. And also relationships with the people around you, where it's not just about we're all just here for the good times, but we are here because one reason we can't really escape each other. What do we make of it? And this is when real honest moments and also like a deeper understanding of each other and also of a country and also of a culture happen. I think this is why I love to be in places for longer. Like holidays don't interest me so much. I really, if I can, I want to spend time in a place. And that means months, years, possibly even if I can, because it makes such a difference. So for you to have both of that, like for once the driving experience through it, but then also being in a place and building those relationships and having those roots develop a little bit as well, even though you still know that you're going to be moving on again. I think that's very, very exciting, actually.
We became some kind of one family, and this became very obviously when they had a inverter, because they are living there off-grid. They have to take the sun power on a solar panel and they invert this power to make 230 volts out of it to have electricity. That's the only electricity they have. And this inverter broke down. And that was when Said came and said he needs 400 euros. No, 700, he said first. No matter. He wanted to have an amount of money that we don't have. And Laura had the idea to make a video to collect money. I said, okay, I'm working for the film industry. I know how to make a video. We have an iPhone. We can do it somehow. So we took one day to shoot and cut and upload a video. 3 minutes of
interview, explaining.
Yes, what happens. It was focused on the life of their family. Actually, we didn't want to do anything about us. It was a film about this family. And we uploaded this video in our WhatsApp group with 50 people, 40 people, I don't know.
Yeah, 40 or 50 people are in this group.
And the next day we had too much money because everybody was spending money. Everybody gave us money to repair this inverter. And this also, this bring our friends to this family too. This is the connection. It's not only the two families come together, also our friends became part of this project. They supported that they have electricity because, it's more than 40 degrees. If you don't have a fridge, then you're lost.
Yes.
And the school had a lockdown. They could only watch in television. They don't have a computer, only on television. No electricity, no television, no school. It's very easy. We had to repair this stuff. It was a very good idea of you actually to make this video, because I was thinking about, okay, what can we do to get this money? And, I'm not at all into social media. I'm in one WhatsApp group, which I put on mute because I don't want... Which somebody
else pushed you into.
I don't have Facebook.
Who could that have been?
No, not me.
Not you.
Okay. I don't have Facebook. I don't have Instagram. I don't have nothing. I'm one of those lost people who have telephone. So I always thought, okay, this is a game. You get 2 euros and 50 cents if you do a video like this. But okay, we have the time. Doesn't matter. Let's try it. And bang, we had 1,500 euros. Next day, from 10 o'clock in the evening till 8 o'clock in the morning.
Amazing.
I go, what? Really? So we could buy not only the inverter, we could also buy a computer for Isam, for the kids. Biggest one, and for the other kids to have some entertainment. Because Isam, he told me when we are not here, he is talking with the palms. I mean, not funny. He didn't tell me that in a funny way. It was true. He's
said,
talking
"There's
to palms.
nothing. It's so boring here." And then he talks to the palm trees. "Why don't you have dates yet? What's up with you, palm tree?" That's what he does. Yeah, it was really intense.
Yes.
And
It was more than just our family. It was really the outside coming to this place, and also for us, our friends, really being with us at this moment.
With
really.
this video starts the art project, actually.
The art project.
Yes.
What we developed, or what just happened because of
When we uploaded this video, there were also some of my friends in this group which are working for film or for audio, and one wrote, "This is the best documentary I've seen in the last 2 years." And the other one, a cameraman I really appreciate, he told me, or he wrote, "Perhaps you should do movies more often." Twinker, twinker. And then we thought, okay, well, normally we would go home at this point. It was time where we would have been home and I would have started working again. And I canceled some jobs because I knew I couldn't come home.
there were no jobs.
And I was about to say, those jobs were most probably cancelled as well.
They were
right?
also
Anyway.
canceled, and there was one job I had to cancel too, but doesn't matter. It was a time to do our own movie, because we realized that for us that we have a good time. We could do a feel-good movie in Corona. This is amazing.
No.
Everybody's going crazy. When we read those news, we see everybody's scared, and we have just a good time. Why not make a documentary about this? That's how our art project started. And the funny thing is that normally I'm working with big cameras and big costume and mask, and it's also big, it's always 50, 60 people working on a project for 1 month to make a movie, and it's so big. And we had 2 iPhones and that's it. We couldn't go shop anything. And we couldn't record the best quality because we knew we don't have hard drives to save it. We have nothing.
You have no memory.
And there was one thing that we had very, very intense wind. Strong wind.
That must have killed you as a sound guy.
Yes, that was for me.
You must have cringed. Like, okay, fine.
Yes.
Pictures we have, but the sound, how am I going to do this?
No,
That
but
must have been
visually
terrible
the
for
wind
you.
is like...
Yeah, but
Yes,
it was so
but
strong.
audio.
It was so strong you couldn't listen to any dialogue. So I built das heißt Zaun.
A fence.
A wind fence out of palm trees at our campsite. So we have one spot where you could do some interviews. And
The builder.
I found a very good thing. We have a radio in our car, and this radio has a microphone in it to telephone with it. This where you can telephone with it. So I cut the cable, and I found another cable matching into my iPhone, and I found out which cables are the microphone in cables, and I connected them, and I built a wind basket around it. So we were able to record at least some usable dialogue. And we had to do a lot of those recordings inside because this was working very good. And I was surprised how good the quality was. For me, I'm used to those Ari, Alexa, those really big cameras. This is nice, but it was still fine. I mean, I could take an iPhone, I could drive on a motorbike, and it was shaking like hell. I could film this guy from top and from the side without. It was like Steadicam.
Yes.
Incredible what you can do with
It's
it.
amazing what the phones do nowadays. I know.
It's really.
I also sometimes ask myself, why do I film more with the phone? Like really, like get rid of the
incredible.
gimbal. Why spend those 1,000?
You just
euros,
take it out of your pocket and you film. And the good thing was that we were already so close with this family that I told them, okay, it seems a bit crazy. What do you think? Can we do a movie about this? I mean, we did this small movie. It was really good and people liked it. And why not do a real movie? Yeah. And they said, yes. So what? Great, we do it. And then from this time on, we were filming all the time, as much as we could, because the good thing was that it was an act on one place. We didn't change scenery. The weather was always the same every day. And they didn't have clothes and we didn't have clothes. So it was all the clothes, everything was
Perfect.
so perfect.
So continuity was never going to be a problem.
Continuity was no problem. You can mix everything, really. And that was amazing. It was an amazing experience for me to do film working. Also to realize that when you nerve people with it, because you get so much into it, you think about this project all the time. You just cannot concentrate on this moment anymore.
And your kids start to hate you?
Yes.
Or to hate the phone.
Yes.
Can you put away the phone, Daddy?
Yeah, but I mean, every time you put out this telephone out of your pocket, something very nice happened. It was amazing. It was, when I do big movies, I always sit there and I watch a scene 20 times and I think nothing happens. And it's cold. There are movies which are great, but many movies are very cold. But this was so intense and so close to those people because we knew them before. It was not, we didn't came there and approach with the camera. We were friends already. It changes the whole situation, how you can interact, what questions you can ask.
Of course.
And we knew what are their circumstances.
Relationships are the most important things.
Totally.
In a film.
Totally.
Of course. Yeah. That's quite amazing. So this is also one of the reasons, and one of the interesting things and why we're sitting here today, because after this conversation as well, you did not only transform the soil, so to speak, but you transformed this crisis into something positive, right? And this is also what this is about. Like that there's an opportunity in something unexpected. There's an opportunity also in something that you might sometimes maybe not wish to happen. And to roll with the punches, so to speak, and make the most of it. And I think you guys are a great example of that. You ended up in this unforeseen circumstance, and what came out of it was a film that neither you had expected nor anybody else. But all of a sudden there was this idea, and you went for it, and now there will be a movie. And that just to me is, the essence of what life is all about. Like, you will never get to exactly where you want to go. There will always be something that will, move you along. There will always be some sort of opposition or some sort of a, force that will push you in another direction. And instead of despairing, it is about accepting that those forces are there and then making the most of that, or not just making the most of it, but actually embracing it and creating something beautiful. And this is exactly what you have done. And you allowed circumstance and also chance to play a big role. And this is why, for me, this is very inspirational. And is one of the reasons why we're actually sitting here today.
Yeah, but you have to say one thing that is very important. If you come from everyday life, I think this is a very hard quest. Not many people will be able to manage. But we didn't came from a real everyday life. We came from traveling. It's really a different circumstance. And as I told you, nothing has changed for us. Except that we couldn't move. It was the only thing that didn't change, but we could move on this place. We didn't work. We everything was the same. I mean, I'm totally with you. You always have to accept what happens. But why I'm saying this is because there are people who really got into trouble because of this virus. They really got into big troubles. They lost family members. They lost their own lives. I don't know.
No doubt.
But for them, it's really hard to think like this because it really affected them.
Absolutely.
For us, we came out of a different situation. I mean, you're true. We accepted the situation, but it was also very good that it was easily to be made. I mean, for sure, if you're totally crazy and fury and you can fuck up every situation, sure. And many people do this. I mean, this is why we didn't go to those campsites. I mean, this happens every day, but this is what I really want to say, that it was for us, it was an easy way to escape from this mental violence that happened inside the people, which is, I think, not easy for everybody. There is really, that's also why this film is very hard for many people, I'm sure, because we just had a good life. I mean, it was the situation. It was given to us, and we were able to accept at this moment. I mean, there was, for example, one situation where my father, he had an
Stroke.
And while you were in Morocco?
While we were in Morocco. And my mother called me and she said, he's in hospital now. And, you know, this was, I'm close to my father, but I'm not very, very, very close to my father. But still, at this moment, I realized, okay, there is reality too. I mean, it's not only this game of, we do a feel-good movie. No, it's not only this. It's something more happening. I mean, it's just, for me, it's very important to, I'm totally with you. You have to accept life as it is. And also the people who, I'm sure that every situation that happens to your life, you will understand one day in your life, sometimes years later. You will understand why this had to happen to make you the person you are, to make
to be
everything
in this moment
happen.
now.
Yes. It's a chain. It's always a chain that happens. It's not one decision you make and then everything is different. No, it's sometimes somebody dies and you're very, very sad. And after some years, suddenly you understand, oh, that's why this and that happened. That's the only way it could happen. I'm totally with you with this, but we're not heroes. You know?
No.
This is what I want to say.
I know. And I know exactly where you're coming from. I think you're saying all of that because you're very humble. And I love that about you. You are. So you are pointing out the hardships of others, which understandably so, a lot of other people have had it a lot harder. And for a lot of people, it is a lot harder to accept their reality. Absolutely. There is no, for me, there's no better, worse, more, less. The only thing that I'm trying to say is at the end of the day, we have nothing left but acceptance. We can not accept things.
Yes.
But that will not get us any further.
No.
We will have to move into a spot where we will accept. And whether that was easier for you than for other people, I don't want to be the judge of that, right? I'm not. I wouldn't want to judge on anything like that. But acceptance is the only thing that will get us further in the end.
Really?
And that's that is the bottom line.
Acceptance is actually at the moment the most important thing.
Absolutely.
I mean, there are so many opinions right now, and you can get crazy and say nobody should think different than you think. This is what happens in a lot of parts of the world right now. And it's very important to accept right now, that there are different opinions. I mean, it's nobody wants to be mean. I hope so.
I think intrinsically nobody wants to be mean. No, I don't think that for a second. No.
So that's why acceptance is really important. It's very important for life, for your moment. It's the most important, actually, totally. And it's also for this time. I think it's important to accept that people are different.
Yes.
Don't fight each other, hug each other. No, it's a bit.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you.
No, but talk to each other. Don't stop talking to each other. Don't stop to try to understand why somebody has an opinion. There is a reason. There is a way before. There's a lifeline before.
Yes,
that's very important.
I think love each other. I think that is a strong sentence.
Yeah, the women are laughing.
Okay.
So what do you think?
Okay. I think next time we should have video to see all the subliminal messaging that is happening right now. Not so subliminal, by the way. But yes, I do think, I'm sorry to say, I think love each other is a very strong sentence. Now, people might roll their eyes. I'm not looking at anybody in particular.
You do.
Okay. But I think it is a very strong sentence. And I think that sentence really goes a long way. And it is kind of flat out, maybe also a little naive and you know, taking everything into consideration. But I think if you think about that sentence long enough, I think it also holds a lot of truth. I do.
Yeah.
I do. And I will stand by that no matter what.
I agree with that. No,
So,
don't get me wrong.
Says the woman with the red wine lips next to me.
So what's the next step for your project?
Yes.
How are you, I don't know, dreaming of
It's
you
a
know,
very
setting it, I don't know,
The movie?
sharing
Yes.
it, I don't know.
On the way back, we already started to look at the footage. It's a lot. It's like we are not, I think, around 35 hours of footage, and we decided it's too much to do it, to cut it by ourselves. We said and to take a project home like this, you know, it's such a personal thing. It's I
don't have
hope
the
it's more
distance.
than a home movie, like
We hope, yeah.
or
We
a
don't
holiday movie. I don't know, but
I saw the trailer.
We
It looks
decided-
like a great piece of film history.
No,
Almost.
very strong
Okay.
and very emotional. I really like
Yes, and very
Yes.
emotional and very beautiful. So I think, having said that, I think what you were about to say, no, that's not going to be the case.
no, but we decided to give it to somebody else to cut it.
to be more independent.
Yeah. To be more independent, to not have it at home, because it would, for us, it would be a project to do it at night, you know, when the kids sleep, and then sit on the computer and cut a movie, which is very personal. And as we experienced everything we were shooting, it's, I think, very difficult to look at it in an objective way. So we
course.
found a cutter, and he just started to work on it. We don't have feedback yet from him, but I hope that we met him. He seems to be a nice guy. He likes traveling. I hope he understands our.
Actually, I called the best cutter I ever knew. I was doing a film in Mexico, a documentary, and I was filming, and I thought, okay, this is not a good movie. But what he made out of it was incredible. It was just, I was crying because it was a movie with no history, there was nothing in it, but he could tell
No
something.
plot.
No plot. And this is where documentaries get interesting, I think. When you don't have this plot where you say drama and love and all this. No, he just could make a film out of it. He just knew the language of film. And I called him. I said, Frank, do you want to cut the movie? He said, no. No.
Okay, good talk.
I'm doing cinema right now. It's no way. I mean, it was the end of Corona where everything started again. So he was in big projects. He's a very, very good editor. But then he gave me the number of his assistant. And I think if he gives me this number, it might be a good person. But you never know. You never know.
Yeah, it's very, very exciting now to.
Yes.
We are waiting for the first things to see. For
First
the
rough cut?
first minutes. Yeah.
Or is it more like-
we decided to like do parts. Like
parts
he would
and
send us
steps.
parts, and then we can try to
see if
lead
it's the
him
right
a little
tone.
bit. Yeah.
Or,
Yes.
Yeah.
And we have the same. I did editing too, quite a lot. So
How do I know that?
yeah,
Boy,
you know
do
it.
I
You
know
know it. And so I know quite good those programs and apps where you can work with. And so I bought a license for a good app, and he has the same app, so we can exchange the projects, and I can change all the parts where when I think, okay, this is at the wrong position, I can change it just. And if I think it's too slow, everything I want it to be a little bit more punk hippie film, you know. I don't want to have those documentaries. Hello, I'm here in the Oasis. I don't want to have this. You know, this is not what I want.
Why not,
I
Danny?
want to have
Please
a
explain
film
that.
that starts in the Oasis and stops in the Oasis. It's Kammerspiel. I don't know the English word for it.
Actually, I think in English even that's Kammerspiel. I am
Kammerspiel.
quite confident.
So
yes. Chamber play.
a chamber play.
Just to make sure.
chamber play.
just to make sure that
this is the
we're being understood here.
Kindergarten effect. Yeah, it's it should be a film at one place that is open. I don't like those films where everything is explained. I mean, the good movies, I like audio because I like radio because the stories are open. If you don't have a brain, you don't understand anything. And also a film.
That goes for a lot of things, though.
Not only for radio.
It goes for a lot of things.
Yeah,
But I know what you mean.
In a film, it's extremely, I think, it's extreme. That's why we don't have television anymore. I mean, I work for this. I see this stuff all the time, and I see how over-explanation leads to a couch potato. Yeah, brainlessness and also wrong information at the end, because people believe stuff that you cannot believe. You know, it's not possible. And that's my hope, that I hope he understands it, that this film is meant to be an open film. But our difficulty is at the end that we are not those Instagram, hipstermatic, Facebook guys, which is quite a problem. Because how do you... I mean, we have a film that is ready, you know. I will pay this cutter and this film will be ready at the end.
Finished.
It will be a finished film. I can do the mix of the film. It's no problem. I also find sound studios that will mix. They will mix the film. They will do it. But how do you manage to get this film under people without selling yourself? Because I'm totally against making travels to money. I'm totally against this. I'm doing those travel not to work. That's actually really, really my intention. Now I did this movie and that's a problem. It's an inner problem, you know. How can you send out this movie without being one of those Insta guys? I'm so cool. I don't want this.
You're not
it's
cool.
Really, I'm
You're not
cool.
even
Yeah,
a
Yeah, we realized that when you got onto that surfboard.
Cool was the wrong expression. Yeah.
So it's like, that ship sailed, man. Or that surfboard's just gone. Yeah.
But that's for me, that's the biggest conflict in all of this situation, that I don't want to do this typical travel movies where you have only this...
Yeah, but it's not.
Because you're stationary.
It changes the situation, but at the same time, we do van life. I don't like this word. We do it in some kind of, but I don't want to take it out. You know, I don't want to...
But the focus is not on van life.
No.
At all.
But it's a part of it.
We have not been living in a van because it was too hot.
Yes,
we were
sleeping
living
outside.
in Oasis, and the focus is actually really a lot on the families, the two families growing together, the kids, this very special time. Also, of course, about Corona, but not too much. It's more about the coincidence we like dropped in that we just dropped in this oasis, and what happened with these two families. The focus is really basically on the families, on also I hope we transport a little bit the life that they live in Morocco, how life is there, how life is for also the wife who has a very, very simple life there, about the kids and how they cope with not having school and being also a little bit worried, of course, and still how they have a very, very enjoyable time with us. You know, for them it was like a dream come true, or they didn't even dreamed about it, that somebody would come in this Corona time, and somebody who they really liked, and they learned a lot of things, especially the oldest boy. He was really, really so in love with you, Danny. You were really kind of a big, like his role model, hero guy coming from Germany, and he knows so many things, and he's so clever, and he has time to sit down with this 16-year-old boy and explains him physics and electronics, and just had time for him. this is something he never experienced with his dad because of different cultures and situations and circumstances. And I think, especially for Isam, for the oldest boy, it was the most happiest time maybe in his life. At least he said that it was the 2 best months in his life. And that is really, really special. And we have a lot of this recorded. And that's also his intention. Like, we asked Isam, what kind of movie should we do? Like, should we do a documentary about Morocco or your life here? And he said, I just want to show the people that we had a very, very good Corona time. And I think there's nothing bad about telling that we had a good Corona time. I mean, there are thousands of people, millions of people who have very, very bad Corona time, but we are not the only ones who had a good time. I'm sure there were also people enjoying lockdown and enjoying having time and enjoying going back to basics and having time with their kids or for books or whatever. Yeah, no filters.
There should be no filter. There should be no filter ever, I believe. So if people are having a good time during this time,
we have a good time.
Exactly. So that should also be told. If there are people that suffer terrible tragedies, that should also be told. But there shouldn't be a filter from the start in anything. Where you, and I think I'm saying this because I do feel that to some degree, this is also something that is happening more and more. Like, you know, you have the left, you have the right. And if you're on the left, you talk about things in a certain way. If you're on the right, obviously you talk about things in a certain way. Not that I want to make them one and the same, just on opposing sides. But, you know, there are filters in place all the time. And even now with Corona, like, there's a certain way we should think about it now. You know, everybody that protests during this time for their civil rights or, you know, Black Lives Matter, people frowning upon that because they should all stay inside and not do it, you know. So there is so many filters in so many things. And I think that shouldn't be the case. So to feel bad in a way because we're telling or you're telling a positive story during a time that is generally considered a bad time, I don't think that should be the case. And I think there should be no apology for it either, ever. Not for this, nor in any other circumstances. What should be always followed is to just be telling how it was as much as you can. Yeah. And but if you're doing that, then that goal has already been served.
I really realized, because I'm not into this social media stuff. I realized that
You mentioned that.
If I talk to other people, I see if somebody feels uncomfortable because I said something. I see it immediately. And I often have these moments when I talk about something that people watch at me because I say something that is very, many people talked about in those social media stuff. But I'm not into it. I don't know who I am because I say something. I'm not into that.
If you're right or left.
Yes, I don't want to be categorized, and I don't want to categorize other people.
And I think nobody does.
Perhaps, yeah, but sometimes it really happens. Sometimes it really happens.
I think we generally feel, because I have a tendency to categorize things for many reasons. I think that's part of it is evolutionary. Other parts are also with the rising complexity of the world, that we want to just be able to dismiss some parts of it so we can move through it a little more quickly and don't have to do due diligence with everything, So I think that is absolutely the case. But it is, and therefore we have that, and therefore we have left and right and all of this and these classifications. But I don't think that it's serving anybody, really. I don't think it's serving anybody. And in actual fact, I think it just very often abbreviates our conversations instead of extending them.
Yes.
And this is something that should be happening
totally.
more. So that's why I understand. I think it's a good thing. That's what I'm trying to say, that you don't know whether you're right or left or middle, or
it's
whether
about
you're
acceptance.
Black or white.
Yes.
So I think most of the time we know we're white, pretty much.
Really?
But well, because generally we're not really subject to racism so much. But that's what I'm trying to say is, like, it's good to not think in classifications and in drawers. And if you can do that by staying away from social media, then congratulations, really. That's a very, very good thing. And I think we should have more of that. Yes. So now after this little excursion, and I thought it was very valuable, I just wanted to know as well. So after finishing this and having done this movie and now having also gotten a bit of a glimpse of how you perceive it, how was it for you when you decided our time here is over? We're going home. What did that do to you? I see a couple of tears here right now.
Yeah, the tears actually were more on the Moroccan side. They were really shocked when they heard we're leaving. There will be a boat. There will be a ferry. There was a ferry, like the embassy organized a ferry for the stranded campers. And we knew if we don't take this ferry now, we'd probably be stuck in Morocco for the next month. So we decided we go. And okay, after 69 days, it was okay. We also like to move on, and it was really hot. The last weeks we had around 40 degrees every day, and it was hot. So it was very sad, though. It was really sad to leave. For us, it was really, really bad to leave the kids there, the Moroccan kids, to know we go and we make a big part of their life now and a big part of the good life. And when we go, it's just desert and palm trees left, basically. So, yeah. When we left, I really felt like there's a big part of my soul stuck there in Farganta, Oasis. It was our home for 2 months. And we had very, very intense moments. And that was the sad part. But
of course, it wasn't all sad.
No, of course, there was also this happy part when we drove off and the van was moving again. And we knew, yes, we're going to see something else again. Not only palm trees and desert and
other human beings.
But, yeah.
Friends and family.
Yeah, also, yes.
Yes.
A little bit beach life before we went to the ferry. But then it was really, really difficult. To come back home to Germany was not fun, to be honest. It was after we were in Morocco exactly 5 months. And
in 5 months, we didn't really, we only saw this in the supermarket. And the 3 times those people were coming, we saw people in masks. It's even difficult if you come back home from a normal travel. It's really,
of course.
It crushes your heart every time because
you're not free again.
Consumption and suddenly somebody's calling you and wants to meet you, and then there's an email coming, and then you have to do something for finance. I don't know, taxes, shit, all this stuff.
To-dos.
It's already to-dos. To have one to-do is too much, it's after this. But
then it's becoming a whole list.
Yeah.
Yes, I know.
It's becoming a list again. And then in combination with Corona, it was really hard.
Yeah.
You don't get it. You just don't get it. Even if we are perhaps wrong, if we don't get it, I don't want to judge it. I don't want to be a politician at this time to decide what to do and what not to do. Really, I don't want to, but that was really it was kickbox, mega fight, woo, 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 in your face. It's too much. It was.
Yeah, we really had to get used to all these rules, obviously, which we didn't have to obey in the Oasis. And it was not so funny coming back.
How is it now? How's it now being back? Now that you've had...
back to routine.
Kind of 3 months here.
Yeah, 2 months.
By the way, while you were in Morocco, everybody here was super worried. They were like, wow, what are Danny and Laura doing? And what's happening?
Had the best time.
I wasn't one of them. Just for the record, I was just like, they're fine. They're in an oasis. They got nothing to worry about. They got a solar panel on top. I mean, they got a lot of sunshine every day. There is a super cool or a good or not so good pool, whatever. I mean, different variations.
No, it was cool after Laura painted the pool. We didn't talk about this, but
Then we have to watch the documentary for that, right? How you painted the pool.
We don't spoil everything.
Exactly. There you go.
Watch the movie for more information.
Exactly.
We had the best Corona time you could probably have.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we knew it while we were there. And this is always something very special. If you realize in a moment that this is a special moment, these are those most extreme moments you have in life. Because normally you realize later. You realize after 1 month, you realize, oh, this was really good. But I didn't realize. But this was really very early. We realized, okay, this is really special what we have here. Really special. But now coming home to come back to this point, on Monday, so in 2 days, I will go for my first real big film again.
How long will you be working on this film, and how long will you be gone for then?
Actually, I'm booked till June, till next year.
But you're not gone until June next year.
No,
now you're gone
now
for
I go
only
for
10 weeks.
Now it's 2 months, and
Right.
then after that there's a very nice project. Really, everybody would love to do something. This is 3 months, and then again 2 months. It's nice. I mean, I'm very happy that I can work and that I'm not in the situation where
Inshallah.
we will see. We will see. But at the same time, I always realize I love my job. I really do enjoy it every day. But having free time is the best.
Okay, you do this for the Trans-Africa project.
Trans-Africa.
For the next movie, we're good.
Wow. Okay. We have to. We will get back together after that.
Yeah.
Which is still a little bit down the pipeline.
You join
You're
us.
not doing that.
You join us in your yellow van.
Yes, I have to do a bit of fixing as well before we do the Trans-Africa. Obviously, you would know how
4x4.
that works. Yes, I turn it into 4x4 first of all. I think that is some major surgical, procedure. Anyway, but so being back now, and if you look back, like what do you take from it? If you look back now, what do you think will stay with you?
I think once again in our life, we really learned a lot about this acceptance. He's better than I am. Accepting things, like really getting into the situation, was sometimes difficult for me to not know what's going to happen in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. This depending on the decisions other people make for me was really difficult to cope with. But he is really good in just accepting it, saying, okay, we are here. Let's see what we can do out of it. Let's make the best out of the situation. Yeah. And in the end, I learned if you accept it easier or earlier or in total, it can be very enjoyable and productive. Also, like now we have a movie, and that's what I take from me. And I also, what I really learned from the Moroccans is they also have this way of acceptance. I mean, it's a lot of has to do with their religion. This inshallah, what I just said, is really it's their lifestyle in a way.
There is a lot of acceptance in that.
Yeah, it is so much acceptance in that because that's what they live. Also with this Corona thing, of course they are scared and they are worried and they have financial problems, but they say, inshallah, everything will be okay. Or if it's not okay, inshallah, he will help us. Or there will be a way, it will go on. It's supposed to be this way.
For reasons I might not understand yet, but
Yeah.
for reasons that I might understand later.
I really like that.
Yes, that's strong.
It's so strong. It's this, we will see tomorrow. It will go on, and it's, when I had this problem, like my personal problem about not knowing when will be a ferry and blah, blah, blah. Also the Moroccans were like, hey, just relax. There will be a way.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, there will be a ferry that day when it's good for you and for us and for everybody. And yeah, I really wished that more people also here would have this like convenience that it's okay if you are okay to accept the way things go.
That's very beautiful because it's also because it also shows that it just summarizes also the exchange on a cultural level that has taken place there. So I think it's beautiful that you're embracing it like that. And for you, what are you taking away from this? Obviously not the acceptance part. We figured out by now that was
he has that.
Yeah, you have.
He
that.
brought this.
It's
Morocco.
ingrained in you.
I think for me, it's if situations get really critical, normally I go because I don't care about it, because they don't touch me. I don't want to spend my life with bullshit. I don't have the time for this, and I'm not willing.
Conflicts, you mean?
Conflicts, yeah, really big conflicts. And there were conflicts going on, but I had to do this situation. There was no way to escape. And that was very hard for me to accept this and to go there and to have a conflict. But it was very good to do it. And I think this is something it gave to me. And also what I take personally from it is that freedom means more to me than security.
Nice.
That's my life. And I don't want to hustle anybody else with this opinion, but it's my, it's, if you take my freedom, my possibility to be who I am, I don't want to be here. And nobody will do it.
I totally second that.
Truly spoken
Absolutely.
like a real William Wallace.
Yes, you will not take away my freedom.
Don't take away my freedom.
Cheers. Guys, one last question that remains is, do you have any idea when the film will be ready and when people can see it? And do you have any idea for a name?
Yes, we have an idea for the name, and that's the only name you can give it. Camp for you.
Of course!
That's the name of this moment.
Ingenious. How did you come up with that title?
What a crazy idea.
More on that in the next podcast.
And when will it be ready? It will be ready when life's bringing this film.
Inshallah,
ready.
next spring.
Inshallah.
Ready.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, okay. I'm the planner.
You're the navigator.
Inshallah, we hope next springtime it
Yes.
will be ready. And
But I don't know where you can see it, because we're
it's
not.
gonna be in cinema next spring.
Excellent.
Next
we will
May
keep you posted.
or so.
We will keep you posted.
Only big cinema.
Exactly.
No, we don't know.
On the giant screen.
No.
Well,
Perhaps at the end we do an iPhone party, where we broadcast the movie at one place and everybody comes with his iPhone and can watch the movie himself. I
There
don't
you
know.
go.
We will find a solution to.
that's a great idea.
We have to find a solution to
in a
not-
forest maybe or something.
In a forest.
Where they can wander around as well. Or in an
I
oasis.
would love to have the premiere at Farganta. This would be my dream.
Oasis.
To get my friends there, to build up a Bedouin tent, to make a fire, to make pizza. I have a pizza oven there.
You have already the oven. That's good.
And
Start.
to watch this movie and be in the pool. I mean,
So tonight what we will say is the movie will screen next year in the Oasis of Farganta. Inshallah.
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 I think on that note we end this. Guys, it was an absolute pleasure having you here in your own home. Thanks for having us as your guests. This is a new one.
You're always welcome.
And it was an absolute pleasure. Wish you all the best with the film. And thank you very much, Vicky, for also joining us today. And thank you, everybody, for listening, tuning into the Yellow Man Story. Thanks for being on board of the Yellow Man Stories. And whatever happens, always keep in mind, we're all in this together. Thanks very much.
Inshallah.
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 And with this, we've come to the end of this week's trip in the Yellow Van. All information about Laura and Danny, their trip, and their upcoming film you can find in the show notes along with the relevant links to today's conversation. Thank you all very much for coming along on the Yellow Van today. We hope you enjoyed your ride. If you feel I missed some essential questions or follow-ups, like I'm sure I did, please send them to us and we will pass them on to have them answered for you. If you have your own inspiring story to tell or you know somebody who does, get in touch with us on www.yellowvanstories.com, where you can also leave us your general feedback or ideas for improvements. The hashtags for this show, Learning on the Job and Stronger Together, are no coincidence. If you want to support Fonzie with a bit of petrol money, you can do so on patreon.com/yellowvanstories. We hope to welcome you back next week for a brand new episode. We'll be keeping your seat and we'll be cooling that imaginary drink of your choice. Please note, a selection of teas and instant coffee is available as well. Until then, stay healthy, keep loving, and always remember, we're all in this together. Now take it away, Jim.